this meeting of the Landmarks Commission, October the 28th at 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Roll call. David Kirkhoff.
Here.
Rich Dobda here. Roger White.
Here.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Here.
Whit Wardell.
Here.
Linda Boving.
Here.
I'd like to make a motion, we excuse Pete Lynch.
I will second that.
Roll call. Dave Kirkhoff.
Yes.
Rich Dobda, yes. Roger White.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Linda Boving.
Yes.
Could we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of September the 23rd? I'll approve the meeting minutes. Or I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of September 23rd.
I'll second.
Roll call. Dave Kirkhoff.
Yes.
Rich Dobda abstain. Roger White.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Abstain.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Linda Boving.
Yes.
Okay, could we have our first application?
The first application on tonight's agenda is CA 24049. The address is 54 Liberty Street. The request this evening is for new asphalt shingles. This residential home up on the screen is requesting to replace their tannish brown age 3-tab asphalt shingles with a new dimensional shingle. The two samples they provided for request is both by Certainty. One is Colonial Slate and the other is Georgetown Gray.
Is the applicant here? Could you step up and then just sign in, please? Sure.
Either are fine.
So basically, you want to, are you going to tear off the old roof
Correct.
and probably replace any of the damaged sheathing and then?
Correct.
Is this pretty, it looks like the new color is fairly close to what you have up there now?
That photo is a bit deceiving. The roof that we have at the minute is kind of like more of a reddy kind of colour. It's like a reddy, browny, because the house used to be kind of a sandy colour, so it kind of tied back to that. So I think the grey goes better with the cooler shade that we have at the minute, the kind of tealy blue.
And you're going to retain the existing gutters?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all the roof is asphalt now, right?
Yeah.
Everything currently?
We had a contractor out earlier this year, and they found some wind and hail damage, shingles blowing off, so that's the reason we're looking to get a new roof.
Do you have a preference of a color? Which one do you like?
I prefer the Georgetown Grey. It has more of a cooler hue to it than the Colonial Slate. But I mean, from a distance, manufacturing differences and all that, I'm sure they're pretty samey. They kind of, I looked around like what other people had, and they're kind of similar greys. They pretty stand out from the crowd.
I think we can probably approve both of them, and whichever one, change your mind next week or.
Okay, that'd be great.
Now, in addition to the house, there's a porch and then there's that little addition off to the
That's the garage
north.
on the side. Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the back, the roof goes the other way.
So all the roofs on this house will be replaced?
Yes,
Okay,
everything will be
okay.
replaced.
Yeah, over the house, over the garage, and over the porch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Side of it.
You guys have any other questions? Would
Mr.
someone like to
Chairman,
make-
I'd like to make a motion, we approve CA 24049 with either Colonial Slate or Georgetown Gray as the color of the shingles.
I'll second that.
Roll call. Dave Kirkhoff.
Yes.
Rich Dobda, yes. Roger White.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Linda Boving.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next application, CA 24050, address is 10 East Waterloo Street. The request this evening is to replace the existing sign for the tenant at Unit B. Up on the screen is the sign that the applicant is looking to replace the existing sign is being retained. The applicant is simply just flipping it over to the bare back and then putting a new graphic on. I try to show to scale what that would look like up on the screen.
So what's the material of the sign?
The existing sign panel's metal with the vinyl graphic
Okay.
applied.
I believe it's a aluminum composite, I want to say, just based on experience, but either way, no problem.
Okay. You know, I can't remember, are the lights already there?
Correct.
That's just a new sign.
Correct. Yeah, it's new. It's essentially just new graphics on the existing panel.
And that says home of the battle pups? Mm-hmm. What is that?
What is
Not that
that?
this has anything to do with
Yeah.
landmarks, I'm just curious.
Okay, so I'm Kristen Martin, and our family started a nonprofit 3 years ago when our son was diagnosed with cancer, June 2021. We started the nonprofit in October of 2021, and so we're 3 years in to our 501c3, and so we just took over the brick and mortar of Spark Play Cafe to move our office and basically warehouse and everything into this location. So our mission is to make sure no one battles alone. So we send stuffed animal dogs all over the world to people going through hard things, whether it's babies in the NICU up to those in nursing homes at the end of their lives, and everyone in between. And so we had started with, our kids had a goal of sending out 200 of these dogs. And in 3 years, we have actually fundraised and sent 50,000 of them, and so we're making an enormous impact throughout the country, especially in the hard-hit areas of North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Right now, we have sent close to 10,000 out in the last 21 days. And so this space just provides us an area where people from our, surrounding communities can come in to get battle pups to hand deliver to people in their lives. Or the biggest thing for us is a space where volunteers can come in and help us put the collars on to the pups, and then we just get them ready for shipment out of there.
Okay.
So the reason we do Home of the Battle Pups too is because we realize that we have like 21,000 Facebook followers. They know us as Way to Battle through our stories of Brady and his journey. But then when we go into schools and different offices, they know us as Battle Pups because that's what we provide. And so we thought, we really need to marry the two together, because if somebody's driving up, they don't necessarily know us as Way to Battle students. They know us as, oh, you're the Battle Pups people. And so we try to do both of them, so that way it's one and the same.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
And as a designer in the collectibles field, I want to say they're really well made.
Oh, thank you.
I have one myself and I love him.
Thank you. Yeah, people are usually pretty surprised because they don't expect it to be so nice,
It's
like
very
such high
nice.
quality.
Yes.
And such a nice thing. So, yeah. And they last a long time. We are getting to a place where they are so impactful and meaningful to people that we've been asked for replacements. And when kids lose them or forget them in hotels or at hospitals, parents email us because their kids are devastated because their battle pup, it goes with them everywhere. And so they ask us for replacements and stuff, which is also like a really cool place to be, where it's that impactful to what we're doing is that impactful to people's lives that they ask for replacements.
And they're not generic dogs, they're like real breed.
I know, I have
Where are our samples?
I know, I was just gonna say, gosh, I should have listen, the enormity of what we have accomplished in the past 21 days has my head kind of spinning, because there was a time where Brady wanted to do 5,000 the one year he was sent to Philadelphia. And now when we look back and we're like, we did 5,000 in 2 weeks. It's just, that used to have been our goal for the whole year. And so just the enormity. So I was actually speaking at the Rotary meeting down in Lancaster today, and I took a box of battle pups and then I gave them to Fair Hope Hospice because they're one of our partners. And so then I literally came here empty-handed except for my laptop in case you guys had a question about the graphics. So I'm sorry, I should have brought some so you guys could know, but we would love for you guys to pop in sometime, because it's truly crazy that we're being invited into all these places in North Carolina. We currently have a wait list of about 6,000 pups to get to different schools down there. And so we're trying to fundraise as much as we can to keep up with the need. And so I wish I would have thought ahead to bring you guys some, but you guys could pop over anytime. And if you look through the glass doors of that garage, you'll be able to see, it's called we call it like our showroom, and we have one of every type of pup, because now we have 28 different breeds of dogs, because when we support classrooms after a teacher or student has passed away, we like to be able to give a different dog to every student, so that way they know that they're unique and different. But the cool thing about the battle pups is that then they're all different breeds, but then they're all dogs, and so it's just a unifying thing. So,
Thank you for doing everything you do. It's awesome to have you in the community, especially like downtown now. That's awesome.
yeah, we're super excited. I'm not gonna lie. I was starting to lose, I thought I was gonna have to let the dream die that we were ever gonna be in our community, because it just felt like we could not afford it, and there was no space that worked for us, because we're unique. We need something, we don't need something huge, but we need something with a garage door and to be able to bring in all these pallets. And so people kept telling me, you know what, maybe you just need to go to Lancaster. Like, there's so much space in Lancaster. Maybe you need to go there or somewhere else. And I'm like, oh, but it's our community and we want to be here. And so then the door just opened for us, and we've only been here since October 1st, but I'll tell you what, so many times we have said we could not do what we're doing right now at the level that we are without this space. We were in 3 different spots. We were in our outside garage, our basement, and our church inside C3 Church, or in our office inside C3 Church, and it was just getting so difficult to go back and forth to all the places that had all of our different materials. So to be in all one place is such a huge blessing to us. So we're grateful, and we're just grateful to be in the community for sure.
Good.
So.
You guys have any specific questions you need to ask her?
No.
Rich, you're the sign guy. Everything looks cool.
New graphic. I'd like to make a motion to approve CA-24-050.
I'd like to second.
Roll call, Linda Boving,
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Rich Dobde, yes. David Kirkcraft.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next application for tonight's agenda is CA 24051. The address is 43 East Columbus Street. The request this evening is to modify make modifications to the previous application CA 24031 for the addition onto the accessory building at the rear of the property. Up on the screen is the photograph of the front of this residential home. The applicant got approval earlier this year, only a couple months back, to do an addition on the back of the accessory building. This addition was to be connected to the existing with a similar roof line, and then be open walled on the remaining 3 sides. The applicant is requesting to change some of the items on this project to include a 3/4 height wall only on the east side and south side of the proposed building. The wall will have a similar hardy board as the existing addition. However, again, 3/4 height, it'll be sitting roughly 34 to 36 inches above the ground. This building is located in a special flood hazard area, so this design option was to allow the flood waters to flow underneath of the opening, but allowed for something a little more flexible. The addition that was put onto the brick summer kitchen initially is designed to be flood resistant, so it has engineered flood vents on all 3 sides of the building to allow for that flood water to move in and out. In this instance, the applicant is requesting to elevate those walls rather than doing the flood venting.
I'm here for Brian Vance. You know, Andrew, one of the other reasons we moved the wall up instead of close to the ground is because there's no garage doors on the west side, and a lot of our wind comes from the southwest. And so if there is a large wind or a strong wind, at least there'll be a vent at the bottom of these walls, not to blow out the other walls, or to blow out the walls on the south side or the east side. So actually, everything was approved the last time we met. All we're doing is adding what's in red, which is the hardy board.
It wasn't gonna have a wall at all before?
Pardon?
It wasn't gonna have a wall, or was the wall
It
gonna
was
go?
all going to be open,
Okay.
all three sides.
Okay.
And Brian just wanted to have some more covering to protect his equipment from weather.
And that matches the siding on the existing
Mhm.
shed? Yeah.
Anybody? I'd like to make a motion to approve CA-24-051 as stated.
Second.
Roll call, Rich Dobby, yes. Roger White?
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly?
Yes.
Whit Wardell?
Yes.
Linda Bovee?
Yes.
Thanks.
Abstain.
Dave Kirkcraft?
Abstain.
The next application, CA 24052, address is 118 West Columbus Street. This application is to make modifications to the previously approved CA 24002. In January of this year, Landmarks Commission approved redoing this residential home, including a new 600 square foot addition to the rear. This existing home had a green aluminum siding on it. That has since been replaced with the cement board you can see up on the screen. New window trim has been added. Looking at the rear, the addition that was added, the applicant is requesting to add a shed roof over the deck to protect it from weathering. Looking at the drawings provided by the applicant here, the shed roof will be sized to fit the deck that was constructed on the rear of the home.
And the roof will be standing seam to match what the standing seam metal roof on the addition, and same color.
Well, I for one think that makes sense to have that over that it just makes sense. It should have probably been figured initially, so.
We did not figure it initially. That's why you're looking at it now.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve CA 24052 as presented.
I'll second.
Roll call, Linda Bovee?
Yes.
Whit Wardell?
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly?
Yes.
Roger White?
Yes.
Rich Dobby, yes. David Kirkcraft?
Abstain. Thank you.
The last application for tonight's agenda, CA 24053. The address is 10 West Oak Street. The applicant is requesting for some exterior building modifications and hardscape improvements on the Cheney grain elevator. Up on the screen is a site plan that was provided by the applicant. The site plan has changed slightly since you guys saw it last earlier this year with approving the vestibule on the front of the building. Again, just a historical photograph here. It's a reference point for the changes that are being requested. We can go back and reference this at any time. The applicant has provided some existing site photographs here of the condition of the building. Currently, they are going through and redoing the exterior siding on the whole structure, but just some frame of reference photographs again for some of the work that's going to be discussed in this application. One of the first things staff wanted to talk about is on the south elevation here. The applicant is looking to install new windows on the floors 3, 4, and 5. These windows are the louvered cantilevered style to mimic the historic air venting and windows that were on the facility. The difference between what was historically there and what's being proposed is previously there was no glass. You just tilt these louvers up to allow for the airflow and light in. The applicant is looking to do a single pane window here with a simulated divided light grid. On the upper floor, there is currently one window that was installed on the east side facing High Street. That window and the window on the south side are going to be replaced with new 2/2 windows. Looking at the details provided by the applicant, again, you can see here that new 2/2 window and then details for the wood awnings, how they're going to be fixed on the window system itself. Looking at the north elevation, the applicant is looking at installing a couple new doors. The existing barn door on the north side will be replaced with a new storefront with a fixed in the open position barn door like what's on the screen. On the adjacent door to the left will be another storefront door that will have a wooden storm door that will be fixed open as well to give it a look that it could be covered. Looking at the rear, the biggest element here is this new patio they're looking at installing. The patio will be raised a little from grade just due to the elevation change in the back of the building. The applicant has provided some details for that patio, noting that it's just under 1,000 square feet. The patio itself will have these decorative sandstone piers with a light fixture on each pier, and then in between will be a aluminum rail system like what's shown on the screen. When looking at the patio itself, there is the walk-up side that will be at grade here, and as you move your way away from the building, there are a set of stairs that take you down to grade. Just to the east of the patio is the proposed HVAC screening yard. This will house the 2 HVAC units for the facility. The HVAC enclosure is shown to be to the height of the unit, and then will also be screened in a similar vertical siding to match the building. When looking at the northwest corner of the property, the applicant is showing a new dumpster enclosure, similar treatment to that enclosure to match the HVAC screen yard in the building. And then one of the bigger elements here in the back, the applicant is showing to install a new parking lot. The parking lot, combined with the existing parking along Oak Street, will provide parking for this event center the applicant is looking to turn the facility into long-term. Some details have been provided for some of the existing conditions on the building up top. Below, the applicant has provided some information that they would like the sandstone for the patio and those piers to match the existing building basement. The storefront window and grill here was approved in the prior application for the new vestibule. When looking at the patio decking, some more information here on the style they're looking at doing. To note, both the foundation water table portion of the patio and the decking, it appears that the exact details have still be to determined, but the idea of what they're looking at is being proposed at this time. For the windows at the very top of the facility here, you can see the new Geldwin 2/2 SDL. For the awning windows here, again, the fixed window here with the SDL grid down the middle. Again, some details for the railing, the screening for the HVAC yards, dumpster screen to match. And then one of the items here, those awning windows, the applicant is proposing to have an obscured textured glass to them. That way it kind of filters them out a little bit and makes them look more like the windows aren't actually there. I think that's one of the ideas behind this, this style choice behind glass. If there's any questions for me, be glad to help answer. The applicant is here as well to go over these items with you guys.
You know what, just to keep some order on this, there's a lot of things going on in this application. Let's start on the south side with the windows. Now, these windows aren't functional, right? They're just to mimic what was there.
Well, the bottom two rows, so the second and third and fourth floor are there to, the previous openings were for air transfer right through the building.
Okay.
So they're there to block, because now we're putting AC and heat into it. So
Okay,
we're
right.
Weatherizing it, and then they're there to mimic what was there, like if it was in its open position, correct?
Is the little canopy over these windows, is that, what is that?
It'll be made from the same material as the siding on the rest of the building, which is how it is today.
And there's no issue with that material, I mean, shedding water, being, you know, more of a, instead of just completely vertical, it's more horizontal than vertical. So that's
Sure,
not an
but
issue.
This liaison shouldn't be an issue. The
Okay.
slope is enough that water will wick away from that.
John, I think you should tilt the mic up a little bit. I'm not picking you up.
Did you get that?
And then the 2/2 window up at the, on the, what, is that the 5th floor?
Correct.
Is that operable, or is,
No, it will be fixed.
okay.
And you said that both windows on the 5th floor are being replaced, right?
There's one, yeah, there's
On
one
the east side, right?
Yep. They are both being replaced.
That's the only 2 windows on the 5th floor, right? There's nothing on the west side?
There's nothing on the other side, I don't believe. It's just the two. There you can,
Okay.
you can see photo number 3.
Are you installing one on the north?
We don't have it planned to install one on the north.
Okay. It looks like maybe there was an opening there at one point.
I was gonna say, was there, did they put a window in on the,
On the east side, yes.
right?
Are these windows, the new windows that you're putting on the second and third floor, the awnings, if you will, what is going to support the, you're going to have some framework to support those?
So yeah, we'll have some framework right now we're proposing a bracket of some sort. We haven't completely, got the detail worked out yet.
I'm still having trouble hearing you, sir.
Oh, sorry. We don't have the detail completely worked out for what we're going to put back there, but we're going to have a bracket of some sort. It's going to be dark bronze to match the window colors, the window framing, but we don't have the exact bracket yet.
And this awning is going to be the same thickness as the material that you're using for the siding? Is
That's
that
correct. Yeah.
And is it going to have some type of framework underneath it to keep it from warping or doing anything of that nature?
It'll have a frame that it'll be mounted to somewhere, either like a 1x or something, to keep it rigid so that it's not, just the actual
I
material.
can see it, with getting wet and it's starting to warp there.
Right.
Over top these.
So it's not
windows.
gonna have a lot of thickness?
No,
Other
it won't
than-
be super thick, but something there to keep it rigid, some sort
Okay.
of frame behind it, sure.
Do you guys have any more questions about this south side?
No.
Is the bronze bracket one on either end, one centered with the grill?
I think we'll have one on either end. They'll probably be set up a little higher than what the detail is showing, so that it's kind of obscured, not as visible from below.
So the bracket on this graphic, detail 5, I guess what I'm trying to ask is it gonna look like the shell to a fabric awning with a wood top on it? Where it's square, tubular steel or aluminum that has a wood. The detail just doesn't provide a whole lot of explanation for how you're gonna experience the arms that go back.
Sure.
And so and Roger brought up a good point, is how to make it rigid. So I'm imagining it's a steel frame that wood is attached to, but how do you conceal it when you're only ever looking at it up, not dead on like this graphic?
Yeah, I mean, I think that detail probably needs a little more work. What we could do is we could clad it on both sides so that you're seeing the wood from, either side of it. That way, when you're below it, you can see the siding, and from afar away, you'll see the siding as well.
How did these old ones stay open before?
Todd, I don't know if you know,
Was there a prop that,
Yeah, I mean, originally they were there for dust buildup and so that would blow up. And they just had sticks.
Mm,
I mean,
yeah.
they push them up and there was a stick with the rope tied to it.
I'll say, have you guys looked at having it look like a prop is holding them rather than a rigid frame that's square?
Oh, I see what, go back to that detail.
So this detail makes, the best way I can describe it is like a fabric awning that doesn't have the fabric on it.
So you're thinking of something that would come up.
If it went down like that, and was rigid to the frame on the bottom side,
That's a good idea.
so it's even more visible, right?
it'd be more visible, but it'd be more
You mean you can see
true.
through it?
I'm thinking it'd be a piece of lumber that is just stuck out of 45 to hit the tip of the awning like this actually was. Like you can almost see a shadow right there. I guess that's my concern, is it would become very modern, very easy by figuring out how to assemble it based off that detail number 5.
How wide is that?
It's only about 16 to 18 inches. something
Oh,
like
really?
that. Yeah, they're not super.
I mean, I'm just looking
maybe
at
2 feet.
I don't know what the spacing of those boards, between the battens, but it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, there could be maybe 3. So to me, I looked at that and I'm thinking, well, that could be 3 feet.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, the width,
the battens on the building, Todd, are 18 inches on center, 20, 12, each board's 12.
Yeah.
so that you've got, Andrew, could you go back to that?
1, 2, 3, so it's 36, so that's a 3-foot window,
Are they
a
3 feet?
3-foot awning.
Yeah, you're looking at something like this.
I don't think they're 3 feet.
The existing ones are 3 boards wide. So you're gonna have a 3-foot wide awning.
Let's see if you look at the siding right under the window, it looks like it's 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, I would,
somewhere between 36 and 48 inches, right? I mean, is that how you,
well, Dave, what I was looking at is that right there, you can count,
okay. Well, that's close to 3 feet on
you
there.
got a 3-foot window opening.
Oh, Andrew, we've got they're replacing the existing windows on the 4th floor. What size are you replacing them with? The scales, it looks the same
As what?
This.
as the spacing on the vent windows. Very close in terms of width.
Yeah. So I think those are 3 by 5, so then,
Yeah, Roger, I think, it's kind of harder to see up here.
Yeah, you can see it.
yeah.
Are we matching the windows on the east elevation? Up on the 4th floor, it's already there.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
I think we just need some clarification on the width of the windows. Because I think if it gets too wide, I think you're going to need something not semi-structural, just to keep it from being wavy, like a fascia board or a subfascia. But yet you don't want to get it too thick, you know, you don't want something,
Right.
Well, David, you might pick up some ice load on those too, you know. With, you know, it's gonna be cold underneath the board, and it's gonna be cold on top of it. So you can have ice or snow build up on those.
Yeah, that aspect of the window would have to go before our plan reviewer to review, basically see the
well,
drawings
with the
or how this is
texture of that
designed.
siding, which is the awning
These windows.
for these vents.
And
I mean, it's not like ice and snow is just gonna slide off of it.
Whatever side.
It's gonna stay up there.
yeah.
So you need a little bit of strength structural.
Well, I mean, that's up to you guys to figure out what's,
Yeah, I would.
just to maintain the integrity of that look right there.
I mean, I like this look. But just
Oh, yeah, I do too.
Getting to that point, getting to it, that's going to be sustainable. It's not going to be replaced in 2 years because it's, you know, it's deteriorating.
I think Andrew's point about a board coming down in each corner would be both historically accurate and look nice. I mean, I think,
As long
Each
as the
corner or in
structure
the
underneath,
center?
because I can see it drooping on each end.
I like both.
I think additional details need to be put together on that. Because as presented, I don't know
Right.
how this, I like the idea of it, I just don't know how it gets actually executed.
Oh, no, I like it. Aesthetically, I like it.
For sure.
You just have to figure out how to put it together and make sure it's stable.
It is a challenge. We can walk one up and bring it in here and show you.
Excuse me?
We could mock up one of those.
Okay.
photos and bring it in here and show you.
Okay. That would work. Okay, let's go.
1/8 scale. Not a 3-foot window you're bringing in.
Okay, you want to go to the other side now? The side that
Yes.
you've shown. So the new barn door and the new storefront, they'll mimic what's on the other side, right?
Correct.
Okay.
The storefront will mimic what we've already had approved for the vestibule. The barn door is actually there, if you look at the existing photos. We're putting it back, but in a fixed position, so it won't actually be operable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're using a more modern hardware?
Yeah, but we're gonna try to mimic what's there, but yeah, I mean, we had to, during, you know, demolition, a lot of that had to come down and it kind of disintegrated. So we will put something back that's a
But
little
it's
more rigid.
non-operable.
Correct, it won't be
Okay.
operable.
And then on the, how high is the deck off grade?
So the grade varies throughout that back area, but anywhere from, 4 to 6 feet, depending on where you are.
So you're actually, if you're on the deck, you're looking down into the HVAC area?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
And that HVAC, we did look at multiple locations for it. We figured that was the best location for it. One, because we won't have to penetrate through any of the existing foundation. We'll be able to come through the siding or some of the new areas. Two, we were keeping it from the street face. I think there's currently a condensing unit over on the street face side, and we're trying to keep that away from the street so it wasn't, visually seen from the street.
Do you think there'll be any issue with noise? I mean, if you've got things going on out there and the AC's on, because I know those things aren't quiet.
Yeah, I mean, they're not extremely quiet, but I think they're a little quieter than they probably used to be. Right now, again, it's really the best location
Okay.
for it, to feed the building.
So you're saying, let's say on this west side that we see, that is the west side, right?
This is the north.
No, I mean,
That's the northwest corner, yeah.
Yeah, correct.
But putting it, which would be what, on the
Parking outside.
parking lot side? I mean, that's out of the question. I'm asking you.
Well, I mean, I think it's out of the question, one, because people be parking over there and coming through that area. You don't want people walking by it every time they're going through in and out of the patio. And it's also gonna be more difficult to feed the entire building. Where it's more centrally located, so we can feed
Okay.
both ways. That way, we would have to go across the
I mean, I'm just
entire
thinking, I don't know what it's designed to hold, the number of people for the deck.
building.
But I would imagine people wouldn't be right there at the HVAC side. They would all be trying to get away from the noise.
John, you said
I mean, I'm
that-
just being a devil's advocate.
Sure,
and
yeah,
saying-
no, I probably agree with you. What were you gonna say?
You said that the deck on this east side by the HVAC yard is about 7 foot tall?
Well, 4 to 6 to wherever you are, like, depending on where you are along that back.
Okay, so you're not gonna be standing at a level at the very top of the fence, looking down into the unit? I thought that you were saying that this side is about 6 foot tall, and the fence is 6, 7 foot tall, so your feet are at the height of the fence.
Correct.
Is there any concern about trash, debris? You're taller than the screen at that point, you're standing on top of it. So, I guess what I'm asking is, the screen is screening from grade, but everything from the patio, you're looking down into it. Does this facility have a generator? I'm just thinking about, if I'm standing here looking down at the
I
entire
see what you're
unit
saying.
that's not enclosed from the patron standpoint.
Right.
Having that screening be different to,
You mean something solid?
something that,
Bring it up
I mean, it might
higher,
help with the
maybe?
noise.
yeah,
I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna be on that side there just looking out, because there won't be anything to look at.
Right, I mean, they're gonna be out towards the front, right? But, I see what you're saying. I don't know the best way to approach it at the moment. You know, we were thinking more about servicing the building.
I'm thinking more of like, on this side of the patio, instead of this railing that's here, what if a 7-foot wall of some kind is constructed?
Privacy
A
wall.
solid wall, where it could be decorated, it could be a visual obstruction and also help bounce the noise the opposite
You mean
direction.
this right, over here?
Correct, yeah, this, rather than this be an opaque railing that looks directly down at the air conditioning that's constantly running in the summer, or the furnace that's constantly running in the winter.
We'd have to look at it. I mean, at 7 feet sounds a little scary to me, but like something that's more solid than the railing.
It does, but when I'm looking at this rendering here, you'd be at a wall that's only 3 feet higher than this pier.
Yeah.
Does that make sense from a usability standpoint? I guess I'm more asking the question for you three. You know, John could draw whatever you guys put together, but from someone renting the facility, looking straight down at the unit that's at foot level, having a visual break to keep you from flicking your cigarette butt like at the furnace, and you know, that's what those places end up becoming.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And I think that when I don't want to confuse, you're not looking down the hole,
Right,
you're looking down the grade.
correct.
And the whole area is graded out, so it's not this pit with these units in it, it's the flat space of the entire north elevation.
So you're raising the grade right where my mouse is at?
Yeah, well, I mean, the patio is feet of fill.
Okay. Because it sounds like, John, you're saying this is where the ductwork will go in this opening right here,
Correct.
and that's already down in a hole. That's my concern, I guess, is how
Yeah.
this doesn't seem to reflect the angle to see the topo change. And so it's kind of hard to see, if this is down here is where the units sit. And the patio, if it's at grade right here, you would be looking down into a hole potentially.
Well, but that grade continues to the east,
Right,
so it's not,
right. And it's just, I think it's hard to visualize how that all plays together.
I mean, I think noise, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think noise is gonna be a bigger issue.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think if it's strictly a noise issue with the board, I mean, maybe we could just see what happens. I mean, see if it's offensive and correct it at that time.
I mean, yeah, we're just bringing it up to you.
No, I get
You
it.
know?
I've heard of, I've put a ton of those in, and I think they make no sense in the end. So, but unfortunately, the original detail had it down on the east elevation, which was right when you drove into the complex, you'd be looking at this 1510 HVAC unit. The other one was on the other side of the conference center, which we've done away with, so we could have the party. So this was the only place left that made sense. So I guess we had to give it, I mean, to get it all tucked in, so you could see it from everywhere, there may be some limits.
Yeah, I think this is a good location.
I mean, the other thing we can look at potentially doing is bringing that stone, the stone from the side, right? Instead of doing railing in between those piers on that side, doing a solid, the stone, bring it up, make something solid there. So at least you're getting some, noise blocking rather than just the open
Yeah.
railing, right?
And there'll be a foundation underneath this whole thing anyway.
Yeah. So that's a potential.
That would keep stuff from getting like kicked under the rail or through the rail down to
Correct.
it too. So it'd give some kind of,
And I think there's three rails on that side.
yeah, four.
Four.
There's
Yeah,
four
well,
piers,
yeah.
3 rails.
Yeah.
So are we here to approve the piers and the railing on the deck,
Correct,
but not and the light?
correct.
I just saw the light. Okay.
So if we're talking railing, should we be looking at the square,
No,
or should we be looking more at the mock-up?
if you look at the email exchange I had with John, he noted that the photo reference is not accurate.
Okay.
It's the detail on the screen.
Okay. That just looks a lot like fence that we've not allowed. So I wanted to make sure that was true. And then same for the stone. Are we looking more at these squares versus the lighter gray flagstone that's kind of in that mock-up that's on the screen? Like, is it more?
That one
these-
has not been vetted.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what to match the existing
Okay.
with.
I think that was Pete's concern via email, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And there's a couple, like the railing, I think it's actually showing as black on the photo page, but it should be dark bronze to match the window framing and the railing that's around on the front side. And then another piece that we haven't discussed is actually the flagstone, where we've discussed it a little bit, but there's still some discussion we're having there to find samples and/or an alternative way to do that. Yeah.
I do think the patio looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So I guess the open items would be to verify the width of the awning windows and then how they're going to be constructed. Is that correct?
And then what stone's being used on the patio?
With just type of stone on patio
Yeah.
deck?
This looks very.
You want to keep that?
If it's this, that looks very different from this.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Thanks. So we're not talking about the pavers, we're talking about the wall.
And the decking, I think, is great, like, that's this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if there's any items on this that you guys want to approve, rather than tabling, anything or everything, then I think if you want to exclude some specifics from their proposal, that way John has some kind of direction on what couple things to bring back, that would be a good helpful way to
Okay.
make a motion.
I mean, we should be able to approve the actual windows. Everybody's okay with the 2/2 windows and then the actual glass type that's going in those without the shutter, louvered shutters, right? So they could actually move forward with the actual window replacement. Does
Is
everybody
this
agree
being
there?
approved too?
Yes.
On the north elevation,
I don't have it in my graphic.
anyway, this window, or is that a door or a window? Well, it's obviously not a door, it'd be a window.
By the grain chute.
It sort of looks like it's like 5 lights wide and 1, 2, 3, 5 high. It says barn door to match existing enclosure, see photo.
Correct, that's a window. And then as you can see that on that same north side, I misspoke, we are planning to replace a window up in the
Yeah.
the fifth
I mean, I'm just
floor.
wondering, the light design is nowhere near what the storefront. You guys see what I'm talking about?
You got like a 3/5 and then like a 5/6, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Talking about these two?
yes.
Yeah. Whatever that grid is.
You're saying the spacing,
Well, I mean, just the design of
the grid?
the grid isn't compatible with the storefront coming out onto the patio deck.
I think one of the things you might be seeing that it's at an angle, so those grids look closer together than they actually are. But they should be the same size as the one coming
Okay.
out on the patio.
Right.
Yeah.
Should we make a list of items to approve?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. We're also approving the parking lot and the dumpster enclosure. And you're saying here that it's, you're expecting to do a decorative dumpster enclosure. Is that going to be similar material to the siding that's on the building?
That's correct. We'll
That's
use,
great.
yeah, we'll use the same siding as we were on the HVAC enclosure and on the building.
Okay. And parking lot, that's fabulous that you included parking lot. Do you know how many spaces that will provide?
I think that's a total of 21 spaces on the actual property.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mhm.
You guys have any more questions? So I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the following items on application CA-24-053. The location and window glass on the awning vents on the south side are approved. The dumpster location and material of the screening is approved.
So the three new 2/2 windows on the 5th floor.
Yeah, the 3 2/2 windows on the 5th floor are approved. Then you want me to list what we're looking for?
I would do that as just a closing statement after a vote.
Okay. Okay, then let's vote on what I just said.
So to be clear, approving just the awning windows, the 5th floor windows, the dumpster enclosure, but
And then the storefronts on the north side,
and the storefronts on the north side.
coming out onto the patio.
Does that include the barn door?
Yes, but you were going to look at, you're trying to mimic as best you can what's there.
Okay. And then 2 come back would be more details on the HVAC enclosure and patio and the awnings.
That sounds correct to me.
Yeah, we need to know the width of the vent windows, just more details on the structure of how they're going to hold the vent window up. And the type of stone on the wall of patio.
And the HVAC enclosure, is that approved or tabled?
That's the same as the siding, correct?
Correct.
So, do we
Yeah,
approve that?
That's the other thing that will be approved, just the enclosure for the HVAC.
HVAC, thank you.
Okay, let's just,
I'll second that. Whatever. Roll call, Dave Kirkhoff,
yes.
Rich Dobdy, yes. Roger White,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Whit Wardell,
Yes.
Linda Boatley.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For old business slash
Hey,
new.
Andrew.
I just wanted to ask a quick question, I don't understand, but just got approved. Our next step is going to P&Z, and we can't do that until this board has approved everything.
You can go to P&Z.
Okay, great,
Yeah, no, these details won't hold up planning and zoning.
okay.
No, you're fine to go to that next step.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And Todd, if you want to stick around, I can kind of talk to you about some of the stuff after too. For old new business, first I wanted to thank Dr. Kelly for being on this commission for the time he served. 5 years.
Yep.
Dr. Kelly's house just sold, so he is going to be moving out of this beautiful community, but he wanted one last meeting to sit here with you guys, so I appreciate your dedication even to stay here the very last day.
Well, thank you.
I will say that you are probably one of the ideal people to be on this board from the standpoint, your serving capacity as being an Old Town resident. You did a major transformation to your house. You enjoyed the process of going through Landmarks Commission, which is something is not, I don't hear it that often. But you enjoyed it so much, you asked more than once to serve, and then when a seat opened up, you got the opportunity, and I appreciate, all the time and effort you've put into this, and I think your project specifically on Trine, it was a good example to set for why you're sitting here and can tell people, you know, what makes sense because good choices were made on your project. So I really appreciate your time here. If anybody, you know, knows of an Old Town resident that wants to fulfill Dr. Kelly's seat, that position will be posted probably the first week in November as being vacant. So kind of let me know if you have anybody you're interested in. In terms of other old new business, the downtown streetscape has finally been completed. Huge improvement aesthetically and I think from a safety perspective, most importantly to pedestrians, which is one of the big goals with that project. We just striped West Waterloo Street on the south side. That has never been formally striped, so I think that's a huge improvement on that corridor as it's getting busier with local cantina, you know, those tenant spaces, Edward Jones filling out. Formalizing that has been a huge help. So I think that, you know, we're on a good track record, 53 applications so far, and it's not even November yet, so we might have a record-breaking year. So look forward to next couple of months with you guys before we say goodbye to 2024. Anything else you guys have for me?
Then if not, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. It's 8:01.
I'll second that. Roll call, Linda Bowie,
Yes.
Whit Wardell,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Roger White,
Yes.
Rich Dalby, yes, David Kirkhoff.
Yes.